welcome you to our first pre-departure briefing for the September 2015 intake. Just to give you a quick intro to the people that have joined us today, my name is Richard Barry. I'm the Director of International Development with the National College of Ireland. Sheila Mahon is our International Officer who looks after students, I suppose, once they've agreed to come to NCI, and we're also joined by Jamil, who's also in Dublin, and Jamil looks after students from the rest of the world. So to kick off, we're just going to go through a quick presentation, and then at the end we can have some questions. For those of you who aren't used to using Google Hangout, there's a Q&A button on the left-hand side of your screen. So if you click on that, you'll get a little bar where you can type in questions, and we'll take those questions at the end of the presentation. So I'll hand over to Sheila and we'll start on the presentation.
Thanks, Rich. Good morning, everybody. My name is Sheila. I'm the International Officer, and I look after all international students just before they arrive to Ireland and right the way through to graduation. So the objective of today's session is to help you as students prepare for your arrival in Ireland and here at the National College of Ireland. Also to meet the NCI international team, so you can put some faces to names before you arrive. Before we start and go through this presentation, we're just going to give you a quick show and tell of what NCI looks like by showing a quick video. You can also look at some videos on YouTube. NCI have their own channel if you want to spend some time familiarising yourself with the college and the campus, and obviously the opportunity for you to ask any questions. So we just have a quick look at NCI. You want to have a look at that video. Okay, so what we're going to go through now is 8 topics of what you need to, I suppose, be thinking of and working on before you arrive in Ireland, from booking your flight, your accommodation, what you experience when you arrive at NCI, at booking your airport collection, what to expect at the airport, information on medical insurance, what to pack, which I'm sure is a big question for a lot of you, and what you can expect when you arrive in Ireland. So when booking your flight, you need to take into consideration some key dates. The NCI on-campus accommodation is available from the 29th of August. So if you're staying on campus, you can arrive from this date. If you're not staying on campus, we still recommend you arrive as early as possible so that you can start your search for permanent accommodation. The key dates that we're recommending most students to arrive is from the 1st to the 5th of September. This will give you the best opportunity to familiarise yourself and acclimatise yourself in Ireland before you start your classes. From the 7th of September, we have registration and services orientation for your programme. So you'll get to meet your classmates, your lecturers, and familiarise yourself with the college. And from the 14th of September, all classes will commence. So it's essential that all students are here and on campus and ready to start classes from the 14th of September. So when you're booking your flight, you can take into consideration some of the key hubs. A lot of students who are traveling from Asia fly through the Middle East and use Emirates or United Arab Airlines. Up to you what flights you choose and what's the cheapest or best option for you to arrive. But just take into account it'll be a long journey and you'll be very tired when you arrive. So booking your accommodation. NCI have created a detailed accommodation booklet, which is actually available on our website. So if you look at the international section of the website and before you arrive, you will see a detailed accommodation booklet. The key thing you need to do is decide what's the best option for you. Currently, the NCI on-campus accommodation is fully booked, but we are operating a waiting list. So we may have a small number of rooms available. So if you're considering this option, please let us know as soon as possible so that we can secure the accommodation for you. So what you need to do when considering your accommodation is access the accommodation booklet and read it. Take into account all of the information that's available to you. Some of the key things you need to take into consideration are that students from all over Ireland and all over the world are arriving around the end of August, early September, and they're all looking for accommodation. It's a big challenge for everybody. But all of our students find accommodation, but just to be aware of that challenge that faces you. And the earlier you arrive and the earlier you start that search, the easier it will be for you. So just a quick look at the NCI neighbourhood. We're in an area called the Docklands, or even the IFSC, which is the International Financial Services Centre. It's in Dublin 1, which is right beside the Liffey, which is the river that divides the city. On a 5-minute walk of the campus, there are a large range of multinational companies that have the European and EMA headquarters here in Ireland. So it's a nice area. There's lots of shops, restaurants, and it's a nice place to be. So when you're considering your accommodation, I suppose you need to familiarise yourself a little with Dublin. As I said, the city is divided with the river. So north of the river, you have the areas with the odd even codes from Dublin 1 through to Dublin 23. And then south of the river, you have the area codes Dublin 2 through to 24. I suppose a lot of professionals and students want to live as near to the city centre, and students obviously want to live as near to the campus as possible. So there's a lot of apartments available. Well, there's a lot of apartments, and that you can concentrate your search around the Dublin 1, Dublin 3, Dublin 5 area. I suppose the rule of thumb, which you'll see in the accommodation booklet, is the nearer you are to the campus, the more expensive it is. The further you are from the city, the more accommodation is available. I suppose it will be a little bit cheaper, but you need to take into consideration times for commuting and the cost, obviously, for commuting and using public transport. So off-campus accommodation, you need to look at long-term accommodation. Really, you're only going to be able to view apartments when you arrive in Ireland. It's really important. You can view the websites that I've listed in the accommodation booklet, but it's really important to know that you can't really book anything before you arrive. You should be aware that there are some scams going out where people are asking for deposits before people arrive, so you need to be aware of that. You cannot sign any leases before you arrive or secure accommodation for long term, or you shouldn't make any payments until you're actually here in Ireland and have viewed an apartment. What we recommend for students who are living off campus is that for when they arrive, they need to book short-term accommodation. So there are a couple of options available to you. There's host families, which are generally in the suburbs, which are a commutable distance from the college, 20 to 30 minutes. You can actually view host families online. There's a website listed in the booklet, and you can book them anything from 2 nights through to 30 nights, whichever suits you. I actually have a small number of host families available to book if you need me to book it for you, but there are some conditions around that, and there's a minimum stay of 2 weeks and a half-board basis. So you need to consider if that suits you and if those costs you as well. There are also quite a few hostels and budget accommodation within a 5-minute walk to the hostel, which a lot of students tend to use. We recommend that when you're booking hostel accommodation, that you book for a minimum of 2 weeks, because we reckon it'll take you between 2 or even 4 weeks to find long-term accommodation. So the next step is, once you've booked your flight and you found your accommodation, you need to inform us when you arrive. So it's really important that you tell us when you're arriving and complete the arrival form. This form is actually available on our website on the international section as well, and I can also email it to you if you need it. If you've booked private rented accommodation, please make sure that you have a contact name and number for the accommodation before you arrive, and you have it on you for when you arrive in case you need to contact them. So this is the student arrival and airport collection form. So it's 2 forms in one. So the first part of the form is your details and informing us when you arrive. And the second part is to let us know if you need to book an airport collection. NCI offer a free airport collection to all international students who would like to obviously be met at the airport and brought to the Dublin city centre accommodation. It's only for Dublin City, so if you've booked accommodation or you're a family outside of Ireland, we will be able to obviously collect your have it on you for when you arrive in case you need to contact them. So when you fill in the form, if you can email it to me, up to 5 days before you arrive. So the first part of the form is your details and informing us when you arrive. And the second part is to let us know if you need to book airport and airport collection. NCI offer a free airport collection to all international students who would like to obviously come out of the airport and go to the Dublin City Centre station. It's only for Dublin, so if you booked accommodation or reservation family outside of Dublin, and be able to take care on you when you arrive in case you need to contact them. So when you fill in the form, if you email it to me, notification when you arrive. So the first part of the form is your details and informing us when you arrive. And the second part is to let us know if you need to book airport and airport collection. NCI offer a free airport collection to all international students who would like to obviously come out of the airport and go to the Dublin City Centre station. It's only for Dublin, so if you booked accommodation or reservation family outside of Dublin, and be able to take care on you when you arrive in case you need to contact them. So when you fill in the form, okay, sorry about that. There was a bit of feedback coming from another presenter which caused the delay. So, booking your arrival. Once you complete the form and send it through to my email address, sheila.mahan@ncirl.ie, I will arrange for a driver to meet you at the airport. The main drivers that will meet you are either Jake or Tony, and I will email you to confirm, obviously, which driver it will be and their contact number in case you need to contact them. So Jake and Tony will meet you at the airport and they'll bring you to your accommodation. So what to expect when you arrive at the airport? Everybody who arrives at Dublin International Airport needs to go through immigration. So if you have already got your visa, you still need to go through immigration control. Obviously, the immigration officer will ask you the reason why you're visiting Ireland, and it's because you're a student. They will or may ask, they may ask you to provide evidence that you're a student and that you have an offer for study here in Ireland. So you should include in your hand luggage your NCI offer letter and receipts, your medical insurance, and your airport collection form. The immigration officer, once they're satisfied that you are a student, will stamp your passport, giving you 90 days in which to get your student visa here at the visa offices in Dublin City Centre. So you should be aware that although you have an entry visa for Ireland, the immigration officer still may refuse entry. Medical insurance. As an international student, you're required to have medical insurance for your stay in Ireland. NCI have or recommend an insurance company that offer this service to international students. So for €120, you can buy your medical insurance, which will cover you for all medical emergencies while you're here in Ireland. It's very important that you note that the medical insurance is only for your stay in Ireland, so it doesn't actually cover you for insurance for your journey to Ireland. So if you need travel insurance, you should buy this separately. So this is just a summary of the medical insurance cover that's offered by ODON, which is O'Driscoll O'Neill. So it's underwritten by ACE Europe, and you'll get the full details when you sign up when you buy the insurance online. It covers for illness or accidental injury up to €2.5 million, and lump sum payments in certain circumstances up to €10,000. It doesn't cover any pre-existing illnesses or injuries prior to travelling to Ireland. So packing. So when you're packing your bags for Ireland, you should take into consideration the weather here in Ireland. It's going to be very different from your home country. I suppose the main thing to be aware of is that Ireland doesn't have extreme winters or extreme summers. It's generally in winter time between 5 and 8 degrees. Sometimes it might go below 0 and there might be frost or freezing. Generally, there's no snow because we're here on the coast, but we have had some winters where we have had some snowfall. Summer temperatures are generally between 15 and 20 degrees Celsius, or sometimes they're lower. But the main thing that you're more than likely going to experience in Ireland is rain. So it makes our grass so green, so don't forget to pack any rain gear. Don't worry if you don't have any, you can buy them when you arrive, but you just need to make sure that you budget, that you'll have to buy this extra clothing when you arrive in Ireland. We recommend that when you arrive that you should carry some euro with you, not too much because it's not safe to carry too much cash, and that you should have access to a credit card or money, because you will be spending a lot of money initially when you arrive, whether that's for paying for your short-term accommodation, your host family accommodation, and you just need to take all of that into consideration. Make sure you bring and pack your adapter and your chargers for your device, and that they're suitable for use here in Ireland. You may need to get a travel adapter. So when you arrive, the NCI driver will meet you at the arrivals hall in the airport. You'll recognise them because I'll send you their photograph, but they'll also be carrying a sign with National College of Ireland. The driver will give you a welcome pack, which will have a map of Dublin City, and it'll also give you a letter with a date and time of an appointment here at the international office. It's really important that you keep this appointment, and if you can't, that you need to contact us to reschedule for a date and time. You may need to visit the local shop to buy some food and water when you arrive. So again, make sure you have some euro with you. And most importantly, make sure that you contact home to let your family know that you've arrived safely. Thank you for your time. And I'm looking forward to meeting you on campus here at National College of Ireland. There's other information available in Education in Ireland that you might find useful, and that's the website listed there on the slide. And this is just some contact us information for any general inquiries, applications, or if you have any further inquiries for me before you arrive, my contact details, phone number and email are available. So last but not least, a video of Dublin, so you can imagine yourself here arriving in Ireland from Dublin.
So thanks, Sheila, for that. So now we're just going to take any questions that people have. So the first question we have is about safety in Dublin. Is Dublin safe? Is it a safe place to live?
Yeah, well, I suppose like any capital city, it has its good areas and its bad areas. A lot of our students, from feedback that we received from them last year, feel very safe in Dublin. And we talk to students through obviously how to stay safe, what areas are good, what areas aren't so good. And yeah, generally students feel very safe here in Dublin.
Great. So I know a lot of students have questions about getting jobs and part-time work. So one of the questions is around the GNIB. What is it? What do they have to do? And the other questions are, there's a few questions there about how do they get a job and what do they need to do legally to be allowed to work in Dublin?
Okay, when students arrive at Dublin Airport, the immigration officer stamps their visa or stamps their passport, giving them 90 days in order to get their student visa. So the student visa is sometimes known here in Ireland as the GNIB. The GNIB are the Garda National Immigration Bureau. So the Garda is the Irish word for police. So they issue the student visas. So the GNIB card, you have 90 days in order to get the card or to get your student visa. And the international will give you all the information when you arrive and what you need to do to get your student visa. So some of the key things is you need to have your permanent accommodation first, because you can't get a visa if you're still staying in a hostel or if you're still staying in a hotel. You will need to have opened a bank account in Ireland, and again, we'll help you with that. and you'll need to have lodged €3,000 into your bank account. So once you have opened your bank account, got a statement showing you've €3,000 lodged, got a letter from the international office, you can go to visit the GNIB office to get your student visa. It takes around those 3 months in order to get everything in place to do that. Once you have your student visa, just around the jobs front, once you have your student visa, then you are legally allowed to work. The student visa is what we call a stamp 2 visa. And one of the concessions for that visa is that you can work 20 hours a week. And then you can work up to 40 hours a week or full time 2 times during the year, which is over the Christmas period from the 15th of December to the 15th of January, or over the summer period from the 1st of May to the 31st of August. So once you have your student visa in place, which will help you obtain, you can then legally work either part-time or full-time. Recommend, obviously, as international students, that your main focus when you arrive here is for your studies. You're paying and investing a lot of money, not only for your tuition fees, but to support yourself while you're here as a student. So that should be your main focus. So if you're, particularly for postgraduate students, it's a very intense program. And although you're legally allowed to work 10 hours a week, we would recommend that 10 hours would be sufficient. But your main focus should be your study and not for work while you're here as a student.
So there's a question on admissions, which you might ask Jamil to handle. And the question is around, is it too late to apply? And also, they're still waiting on visa receipts, and how long are visas taking from different countries at the moment? So Jamil, can you handle those?
Sure. So hi everybody. Well, if you are abroad at the moment, it is too late to apply for September 2015. But we will be opening the applications for January soon. Now there is a couple of courses running in January. We don't have the undergraduate courses running in January, but we have some of the postgrad and some of the higher diplomas. If you're here in Ireland at the minute, you have until the 21st of August to make an application, and that's the cut date. 21st Hi everybody. Of August. Well, if you're abroad at the moment, sorry, it's in any case, receipts, fees receipts. So admissions at the moment, it's producing all the fees receipts, and by the end of or by the beginning of next week, all the students who are waiting for fees receipts should be getting them soon. And we're trying to accommodate, the students who need visas. We're prioritizing students who need visas, but we're looking after all the receipts at the moment. They're all being done as we speak, so you can expect to receive your fee receipt very soon. I think.
Okay, that's great. Thanks. So one of there's a couple of last questions. Any suggestions on what to do in their first days in Dublin? So when they arrive, maybe before they're coming into NCI?
Yeah, there's quite a few websites that give information on the top things to do. Dublin is a small city, so the one thing I'd recommend is hopefully the sun will be shining, or it won't be raining at least, and you should explore the city. So you'll get you'll get a Dublin city map as part of your welcome pack. So when you come to NCI for your first welcome meeting, which will be in a couple of days of your arrival, we'll talk you through some of the places where you can go. So you can do a hop-on, hop-off bus, which will familiarise yourself with the city. You can go to some of the key sites or top tourist attractions, which are the Guinness factory. But one of the things actually that I'd recommend that you do is that you actually go outside of the city a bit. That you actually take a local train, which is called a DART, and you go to some of the seaside resorts on the north of the city to Howth or to Malahide, which are really nice areas to explore. And then south of the city to go to Dunleary, Dalkey, Killiney, Bray, and just explore them. Enjoy the time before you start your classes because it's very intense. And explore the city. They'd be the main
Great.
things.
So one last question before we wrap up. What are the opportunities? I think there's a couple of questions there from people about the opportunities to meet up with other new people to NCI. Does that happen in the first few weeks of the college?
Yeah, you will. On your first meeting here at NCI, you'll be with a few other students. You'll also be meeting international students who are here on campus, who are our international peer mentors. So they'll actually give you a tour of the campus on the day that you arrive, and you'll meet some students then. As part of registration and orientation for your program, you'll get to meet all your classmates. We also have a very active International Friendship Society and the Students' Union here at the college, which will be new to some of you in your experience at college, have very active clubs and societies. So you'll have the opportunity to join lots of different clubs and societies, which will be a great opportunity to meet other, not just international students, but national students. And to do whatever sports or activities with other students. And if there's no club or society, available thing that you're interested in, you can actually have the opportunity to create your own. There's also a lot of, again, which I go through with students when they arrive, we have an international welcome meeting. So you'll get to meet a lot of other international students at that. I go through some details on volunteering, which is an opportunity to do something you're passionate about, whether it's working with animals or with people, and you'll get to meet local people from Dublin, Ireland. But there's also a lot of media outlets for you to meet up with other people around Dublin. So there's lots of opportunities, and we give you all of the information as part of the welcome meeting when you arrive.
Great. Well, that's it from us, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. And if you have any questions in relation to applications, your visa, any information that you're waiting from NCI, or indeed any questions about your journey to Dublin or what you need to do in the first few days, the easiest way to get those questions answered is by email. So if you email international@nciorl.ie, we'll filter the email to the best person that can help you, both people who are based in India and China or people that are based here or indeed Chile. To wrap up, the one bit of advice we would have is to try and get here as quickly as possible, get settled, find somewhere to live, and then it means that when the course starts on the induction starts on the 7th of September and your course starts on the 14th, you're settled and you're not worried about trying to find somewhere to live, to get a job. So look forward to seeing you all in Dublin very soon, and thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.